I save my couples and my clients so much money when they work with me, guys. It's actually crazy. So today I'm gonna share with you guys my top 3 tips on how to stretch your dollar for your wedding or your event for that matter, and how to get the most bang for your buck. And these are the 3 things that I go through with every single client that I work with, so I already know it's gonna work for you too, so stay tuned. Tip number 1 is to prioritize your priorities. I know that sounds really simple, but it is so important, and it's a step that I think a lot of us end up missing. So with any couple or client, I'm actually just gonna use a wedding example, so I'll say couple a lot, but just know that this can be used for any event that you might have. So when I do our consultation call for the first time, a question I'm always sure to ask is, what are your top 3 priorities for your big day? Now, for every couple, that might be different. For some, their most important thing is good food. For others, it might be great entertainment. For other people, it could be great decor. It really just varies. But the reason why I love this question so much is because it really allows us to narrow down what's important to the couple, and also allows them to verbalize what's important to them, because they might not do that when they initially start thinking about their wedding. But it really helps us to pinpoint what are the areas where we're comfortable with spending a little bit more, because when we look back on the wedding day from, maybe 10, 20 years in the future, what is the thing that's gonna stick out to us? What is the thing that we're gonna say, oh, we're so happy we did that, or we're so happy we had that, because we knew that's what we wanted, and we knew that's what we were gonna remember about our big day. I love this question so much because it really helps us to narrow things down. And it also helps us to understand where we're comfortable with spending a little bit more because we know it's something that we really want, versus where we might be willing to scale back dollars a little bit just to make sure that we're really able to get our priorities straightened out. So say, for example, let's say you're a couple and you really prioritize entertainment. You want your guests to have a great time at the wedding. You want them to be on the dance floor all night. So that said, you might be willing to maybe fly in a DJ that you've been following for a long time, that you've seen their work, you really love the way that they DJ, you really love their sets, they're professional and everything. So you might be willing to spend a little bit more on that specific DJ to come be at your wedding, because you know that they're gonna ensure that your guests have a great time. Now, that same couple might not really care much about, let's say, florals. Let's say they want very simple florals. It doesn't have to be anything too over the top. They're fine with simple centerpieces and things like that, just to make the cost of things a little bit cheaper, because they know they might be spending a little bit more on this DJ because entertainment is so important to them. So let's face it, really, everything in your wedding is not gonna be the most memorable. You are not gonna remember, and your guests aren't gonna remember, whether or not you had satin linens versus polyester linens. At the end of the day, that might not be a big deal. But if you're this couple and you wanted entertainment, what you're gonna remember is like, wow, we had just such an amazing DJ. He kept folks on the floor dancing all night. We were dancing all night. We had such a great time. Wow, we're so happy that we invested in a great DJ and didn't really care much about the linens. So having your priorities outlined really helps you to hone in on what's important to you to get you what you want while still honoring your budget. My tip number 2 is to reduce, reuse, recycle. I don't know if that's a term that people use, but I think it's very fitting for this tip. Basically what this means is to get the most out of everything that you are bringing into your wedding. So for example, let's say you have a lot of florals for your ceremony space. You have florals along the aisles, at the altar, maybe on guest seating. Let's say you have a lot of them, and you have also a separate reception space. There's no point in getting all new florals for your reception space that you could literally just move from your ceremony space to your reception. So that could potentially save you even thousands of dollars, because you're literally just repurposing it for your event. No one is gonna remember a floral at the altar that they saw, and then when they get to their reception, it's the same florals that is on their table. Nobody's gonna remember that. Nobody's gonna care. It's flowers. They can literally be transported and moved from one place to the next. I've had several brides who have used their bouquets for their bridesmaids for centerpieces. You could also use those same florals on your sweetheart table, on the bar. I mean, the list is endless. Just reuse and repurpose what you can. A lot of the times your florist will actually even make that recommendation just to save you a little bit of money, and they're usually happy to move things from one place to the next, or your planners or your staff is also willing to do that for you as well. So make sure you get the most bang out of your buck by using things that you can reuse for several different spaces. Even prior to your wedding, let's say you are doing an engagement shoot and you also need to do a makeup trial for your wedding day. Try to schedule both on the same day. Get your makeup done by your bridal artist in the morning and do your engagement photo shoot in the afternoon. That way you already have your makeup done. You don't have to go and spend more money on 2 separate days to get it done again for your engagement shoot when you literally get it done in one day. And that could also potentially save you hundreds of dollars, because we know bridal artistry, makeup, hair, it's not necessarily cheap. So make sure you get the most bang for your buck by trying to incorporate as many things as you can into one day. That way you're not having to spend it multiple times over. So try to incorporate as much as you can into one day. That way you're not having to potentially spend hundreds of dollars by doing things separately when you literally can just combine the two. And my third tip, and I think this is probably my favorite tip, this is something that I even did for my own wedding, and it was so impactful and saved us honestly thousands of dollars. But one piece of advice that I give to every single couple that I work with, if you don't already, get a good travel credit card. I specifically have Chase. I know Capital One has a great travel card, and there's some other banks that also offer the same. If you have one, try to put all of your purchases on that credit card and literally just watch the points accumulate. If you're planning your wedding, this is probably the only time in your life, aside from maybe buying a home, that you will spend a lot of money within a short period of time. So why not try to make that money work for you by accumulating points for your credit card? So literally anything that you can put on that credit card to pay for your wedding, for example, your vendors, your decor, your wedding dress, tux, anything you can think of that can accept a credit card payment, just pay it using your credit card. And the reason why I recommend this so much is that once you accumulate all those points, you can literally use those points to pay for your honeymoon, your flight, your accommodation. I did this for my own wedding, and we literally spent close to nothing out of our own pockets for our honeymoon because we had used our credit card to pay for a lot of the wedding. And because we already had the cash on reserve, just paid it right back. So again, that can potentially save you thousands of dollars on your honeymoon. And honestly, when you're planning a wedding and you're planning a honeymoon at the same time, it's a lot of money to consider. So try to do things that are gonna get you the most bang for your buck and really let your money work for you. So these tips are just the beginning, guys. I have a lot more stored up in this brain of mine, and I hope to bring these to you guys periodically. So please make sure you are following my channel, you are subscribed, you are sharing, liking, comment. If you have any questions about what I've shared, feel free to comment below. I answer all of the comments that come through from you all, so I'm really excited to hear from you. And if you have any additional things that you want me to talk about on this channel, feel free to make suggestions in the comments and I will get a video made for you guys. But thank you guys for sticking with me today, and I will talk to you soon.